started leaving us to our own devices, according to the story. So that again, they would watch, they would guide from afar, and over time have less and less contact with us to see where we would take the information that they imparted to us, to see if we could survive on our own, if we could learn to build a civilization. Now, of course, because of all of the information being at cross purposes in the beginning, because they had a different reason for creating us than eventually what came to be, our independence was really a very different goal from what they originally intended, the group that created Homo sapiens. So a lot of this information has gotten mixed up over time and lost over time in the different civilizations that have evolved on Earth, so that we're not really sure now exactly what is an indication of what physically really happened and what is simply a legend, a story, a mythology. And so nowadays we are attempting to look back at history from our new understanding with our education, with our science, with our evolutionary understanding. We're trying to look back and say, what can we separate out from the stories and the mythologies? What actually really happened back then? Because it does appear that some of the stories may have a basis in fact, but has become wrapped up in the mythology, in the legends. And so it's very difficult, very challenging nowadays to understand what really may have physically happened from what may have been embellished over time for a variety of either social or religious or political purposes. Because again, mankind being left on its own has to guess a lot, has to speculate, has to explore and experiment and discover. And some things that we have discovered lead us to believe now that some of these stories may in fact be more literal than we thought. Not all of them necessarily. Some of them still remain clouded in myth. But we are digging down, we are discovering new things, and the more we seem to dig up, the more history seems to validate some of these stories as being things that actually did happen. Maybe not exactly in the way we think, but they do seem to have a basis in fact.